right, and welcome to Not Suitable for Adults. Oh, we've had a long break.
Yeah. I'm still on mountain time, man.
Yeah, we're just living in mountain time.
Mm-hmm.
We were in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
We were very safe.
Yeah, we did everything as safe as possible while traveling. Masks, socially distancing, just, not going up and licking people's faces. The things that
not our normal stuff.
Our new normal is we're getting used to it now.
Stuff we didn't think much about before, but now we're definitely not licking any faces.
Right, exactly.
Oh, man. Well, if you've forgotten, this is a podcast where we watch shows that they made for kids, but we're going to watch them, and we're going to talk about them.
Sometimes we enjoy them. Sometimes we don't.
I think this week we enjoyed the stuff that we consumed.
Yes.
And we're doing things a little bit differently this week just because we're sort of getting back in the groove.
Yeah, we just got back. The day we're recording this, we got back last night. So today has been a lot of unpacking and laundry and also just not doing anything because, the vacation from a vacation, needing a vacation because of your vacation, that sort of thing.
Yeah, our relaxation really pooped us out.
Oh, man, I'm exhausted. And I went back to work this morning, so I am tired.
All right. Well, I don't think we said this, but I'm Rich.
Hey, y'all. I'm Natalie.
And so this week we both watched the two movies we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to have a little duel thing for you guys. A team up, if you will. A team.
A little team up.
A little.
What else would that be?
I don't know.
A team up. When two people are on a team. A duo.
Duo. There you go. There's another word.
A duet.
Okay.
Oh.
It's fine.
Okay. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is actually a movie we've talked a little bit about before, but I finally saw it.
Right. So I had seen the live action Beauty and the Beast. I don't know why. Maybe, when it came out, I probably got it like on demand or something like that one day when you weren't around.
I think you saw it with your family. I think you guys all saw it at your parents' house.
I saw it by myself.
Okay, well, one way or the other, I had not seen it until today.
That's right.
And now I'm going to give you my thoughts on it.
Okay.
And we're going to discuss it a little bit together.
And I saw it for the second time today.
Yeah.
So it's not like I have it committed to memory, but it's Beauty and the Beast.
It's Beauty and the Beast. Mm-hmm. I like this one.
I really like this one because it is much more specific about certain things that happen, why they happen, who they happen to. Reasons are given from many different instances that are not given in the animated version. Yeah,
there's a little bit, you get a little more backstory on everyone in this movie. Mm-hmm. Literally every important and even semi-important character, you get a little bit more on them than you did in the animated one. And it is like 40 minutes longer than the animated one, so that makes sense. But I really enjoyed everyone in this. Emma Watson's good. Emma Thompson's good.
All the Emmas.
Oh, what's his face? Who plays the Beast?
Dan Stevens.
That's the one. I did enjoy Ewan McGregor.
Yes, you always enjoy a good Ewan McGregor movie.
You know what? Who doesn't enjoy a little good Ewan McGregor? Show me one person who doesn't enjoy Ewan McGregor.
I enjoy Ewan McGregor, but there are some movies that he's in that I don't enjoy.
Well, okay, but take away the Star Wars prequels, and now let's talk.
Okay. There's some that I think are okay. This isn't a podcast about Ewan McGregor.
It is now. Now we're not suitable for Ewan McGregor.
We love him. We love Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, he's good. He's good in this one.
You know who my favorite is, though.
Well, who?
Oh,
is it Stanley Tucci?
Yes, I love Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, she's a big Tucci fan.
Love Toot. Love the Tooch.
She's a Tuccista.
Okay.
That's something I'm making. I just invented that.
Yes. Us Tuchistas love the tooch.
Can't get enough of the tooch.
Love that tooch.
He is good as a brand new character that didn't exist in the original.
Right, exactly. He is the maestro.
Maestro Cadenza.
Yes, and so he is a piano.
I believe he is
a harpsichord.
Yes, you'll find he's a harpsichord.
Hey, did you see me? I corrected myself before you corrected me. Thank you very much. Get off my back, man.
Good job. Get off my tooch.
Oh my goodness.
But he's very good. He's like never been bad in a movie, so
right.
Yeah, not surprising. Yeah, so this one's really good. I like that we get more backstory. I really love Josh Gad as LeFou.
Love Josh Gad. We've said this before. We love Josh Gad. The only reason we liked Artemis Fowl even a little bit was because Josh Gad was in it.
Yeah. He's great, and he gets to show off his singing ability again in this one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There are a couple of things. As much as I love getting more background on why the villagers don't like remember that this guy used to be a prince not even that long ago. That's good. I like learning more about Belle's history and why she doesn't have her mom in the picture. And I like learning more about sort of Prince, what's his name? Because before he was the beast. Did they ever say his name?
Prince, what's his name?
Right.
We'll call him Prince Dan.
Prince Dan. Learning like some things about his childhood. And all that. That's all very good. Here's the thing that still bothers me about Beauty and the Beast.
What?
It's not resolved in either movie.
What?
I don't understand why Belle needs to return his affection. So here's the thing. For
the curse to be lifted.
Right. In the beginning of the movie, it's set up that he is a very self-centered person. And he's all about just pleasing himself. He throws these lavish parties just for his own amusement. And then when the enchantress shows up as a haggard old lady, he makes fun of her for her bringing a gift of a rose. And then that sets up the whole thing. And even the way they say the way that he's cursed is that he doesn't have any love in his heart. They say that a couple of different times at different points in the movie. He doesn't have love in his heart. And at the moment when this is true for both Beauty and the Beasts, when he lets Belle go, he says, no, you need to leave. He gives her the mirror. She needs to leave and go save her dad. That's the moment. And then he has a beautiful song in this one. It's a great song.
Yeah.
But it's all about how now, even though she's leaving, she's going to stay with him because she's in his heart now. And he loves Belle. That should have been it.
I don't know. I think it says something about someone that somebody loves them.
Oh, yeah.
So I think if you love me,
and I do.
Oh, thanks. But you are unlovable, then that is only half of it. Do you know what I mean?
So okay. Yeah.
So I think someone returning your love is as much about you as it is about that person.
Okay. I agree with that.
But
let me hit you with this.
Okay.
I think that, and I don't like the platitude of like, if you love something, let it go. I don't always love that. Like, that doesn't always make 100% sense. But I do think that it would have been easier for him to say, like, I love you, and like try and keep her. And she probably would have at some point, even if she was like, no, I have to stay. He could be like, I wish there was more we could do. And like that could have still ended in them falling in love and both of them declaring their love to each other. But I think that him saying, her saying, him saying, you just go, and making her leave. I think that was a big love thing.
Punch.
A big love punch.
You just shook your fist at me.
I did. I was trying to think of a word, and I realized I was shaking my fist semi-threateningly, but it wasn't threatening.
A big old love punch. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure. I hear what you're saying. I think my point still stands.
I do. I do too.
I like my point better than yours.
But do you not agree that the curse was worded such that he needed to learn to love?
I didn't read the contract.
Well, she didn't write that, and let's be fair.
You did not see if there was a contract.
She didn't. She did not seem to give him a contract. It seemed to be a verbal contract. Which he didn't agree to. Which is from a witch. That's called a curse. or a hex, if you will.
I don't know. I mean, in the curse, I'm pretty sure she says that he needs to fall in love and the person needs to love him back.
Okay, maybe that's true. Maybe I missed that. Another thing about the Enchantress, we'll leave that aside.
I like that there was the Enchantress in this movie.
Actually a character, and we see her again. And we kind of see her, it's almost, and this is something you don't get in the animated one. In this one, it's like, nope, he didn't make it.
Right.
And she just happens to be there.
Yeah,
and
in the animated version, Belle says, I love you, right as the rose petal is falling.
Right.
So they made it right in the nick of time. And the what I love in this one is she doesn't say that until everything has broken down.
Yeah,
so
everyone's turned back. Everyone's turned into furniture.
Right.
He's dead. The last rose petal falls and turns black.
I love that emotional side to the secondary characters, them turning into pots and teacups, actual pots, actual teacups, actual candlesticks.
I thought Chip was gonna eat it.
Oh yeah, I know.
Because Chip's jumping off a balcony or something for some reason, and the plate breaks, and it looks like he's gonna smash. He's gonna mid-air turn into a cup and smash.
I know.
And then the hat rack catches him.
Yeah.
And then
turns into a hat rack.
And then finishes turning into a hat rack. Yeah. Here's what I was going to say about the Enchantress, though. I like that she's in it. I never thought about this before, but it's really funny that she leaves him with some presents. She curses him and then's like, and here's some trinkets for you.
Well, and he says that too, that those were even more of a dig. He can look at these people, he can go to these places, but he won't be accepted because of the way he is.
So we have the mirror, which I gotta say is not a good mirror.
The mirror in the animated version, I think, is a better mirror than the mirror in it's way too foggy.
It's very frosted around most of the mirror, and then you can kind of see a little thing in the middle of it.
It's so, frosty.
But then he's also got the map of many places, where he can put his hand on there and go wherever he wants. Which he says, and I guess it's because he craves to be around people. But he says there's nowhere I could go. There's no place in the world for someone like me. I'm like, I bet there is. I bet you could still go places.
Can I read something to you real quick?
Sure.
I looked up the Beauty and the Beast curse
great.
just to get the wording kind of right.
Perfect.
Because he has no love within his heart, the prince is transformed into a terrible beast. The spell can only be broken when he truly learns to love and can earn the love of another.
Oh, okay. I did miss that part. Thank you for finding that.
You're welcome. And now you say...
You were right.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's funny that she gives him these little trinkets, little magical knickknacks that he gets to use... that really Belle gets to use, that he gets to give to Belle.
So they're really just there to drive home the backstory of Belle.
Yeah.
And Maurice.
Really just the new one. Just the map of many places is there so that we can explore Belle's backstory.
Yes.
But I like that. Mm-hmm. I think that's a fun thing. I also think it's funny, the idea of you're cursed. And now here's some magic items. Like, I think about it like in terms of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, here is a bad thing happens to you, but you were able to loot the bodies. And you did find some fun magic stuff.
What I like in this one, like I said at the beginning, is a lot more things are explained. Something in the animated version that we don't get, and I'm pretty sure I talk about this when I did my deep dive into the animated version several episodes ago, was the timing of everything. Because in the animated version, it's like they have a mutual regard for one another overnight, and Maurice is just out there the whole time trying to find her. In this one, they specifically say that it took 5 days, and which is still a short amount of time, but not, the next day. They spend 5 days together where they're gaining more of this mutual affection for each other.
They're having snowball fights.
Yeah, and Maurice, and we find that, Maurice has been sick and has been recovering in those 5 days instead of out in a snowdrift for 5 days.
With the Enchantress. Yeah. Oh, and that's a moment I like too, is when Gaston gets back to the bar and he walks in and everyone kind of turns and looks at him awkwardly. He's like, hey folks, what's up? And Maurice kind of stands up and the guy at the bar is like, Gaston, did you try to kill Maurice? And like that was a very cool moment because I feel like in the animated one
they are against Maurice
100%,
all of the time, and also they
love Gaston 100%.
Right.
And I get it, like Gaston's a very charismatic character, even though he's obviously a jerk.
Which, by the way, and I mentioned this as we were watching it, LeFou sees in this one as well. He even goes to Gaston and is like, sir, with all due respect, and Gaston basically threatens him and says, you'll be with them if you don't, shape up.
Yeah.
So
and then he ultimately leaves him behind.
He does.
At the Battle of Beast Castle, which is what I'm calling that final fight scene.
Okay. I
think it sounds good. Yeah. Battle of Beast Castle.
Yeah, I like it.
So, all in all, I know it's not a brand new movie. We're not like real-time movie reviewers.
No, when have we ever been?
That'd be cool though. Hey, if you're out there and you want to make us into real movie reviewers where we watch movies like before they come out and give reviews, oh man, we would do it. Heartbeat.
I like all the new music in this one.
Yeah.
A lot of times in these live action remakes, they add 1 or 2 songs that I'm like,
whatever.
That didn't, that was okay. But the one that the Beast sings, Dan Stevens, has an amazing voice, very operatic.
And Maurice's song, which by the way, I didn't say Kevin Kline. Come on.
Yes.
Kevin Kline's one of the best.
He's a good Maurice.
Yeah, he's very good as Maurice, and he has a very pretty song towards the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's a good one. If you haven't caught it, catch it.
That's right. Gotta catch them all.
Yeah, gotta catch them all. Don't get me started on Pokemon. We can talk about Pokemon.
No, pass.
But it's on Disney Plus because Disney owns that one.
Yeah, and I think it actually just recently released on Disney Plus. Because
not too long ago.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where we've looked for it because you hadn't seen it, and it wasn't released yet on Disney Plus, but it's on there now.
Do we end up finding an activity to do today?
I did find an activity, but I'm going to introduce it, and then we're going to have to pause for a second for you to complete the activity.
Okay.
And then we will get back on our recording devices, and we will share our results.
Okay, sounds good.
Do you want me to do that now, or are we going to Promoville first?
Let's introduce it. Let's go to Promoville, and while we're in Promoville, that'll give me a chance to do the
okay, because this is a good segue into what we're talking about next.
Okay, can't wait.
I would like you to please go to BuzzFeed because...
That's where we go.
That's where we go. And I would like you to take the quiz of which witch from Hocus Pocus are you? And
okay.
There's a little teaser for you, folks.
Okay. Well, I can't do this quiz while I'm driving the car, so let's pull over at Promoville.
Oh, well, I mean, we're going to pull over at Promoville, or was Promoville our destination?
We're going to pull over in Promoville so I can do this, and then once we're back on the road, I will have done the quiz.
Okay, well, I've got a piece, so you got to actually stop at a place.
Okay, here we go. So we're pulling over the car, and here we are in Promoville. We'll catch up with you in just a second.
Okay, you took the quiz?
Yeah, we're back from Promoville. We're on the road. I took the quiz.
We safely took the quiz before we got back on the road.
Yeah, I didn't want to be
Promoville.
Like I said, I didn't want to do it while I was driving.
Do you guys know that that's all metaphor?
Oh yeah, we don't really stop in a place.
No, there's not a real place called. Well, there might be a real place called Promoville.
Only one time have we actually done this podcast on the road
in the car. Yeah.
Just the one time, and we still didn't stop in a real place called Promoville. Please, if you've been confused about that all along, I hope you feel better now. Mm-hmm. Okay, I went to BuzzFeed. I took the Which Witch from Hocus Pocus Are You by Shiloh Watson. And I got Sarah Sanderson.
Ooh, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker's character. It says, you're fun, beautiful, and easily excited. You're naive when it comes to some things, but you have more smarts and talent than people give you credit for. You're not afraid to speak your mind or show your true feelings, and you know how to let loose and have a good time.
How do you feel that speaks to you?
I don't think it's right. I think I'm Kathy Najimy.
Well, I will tell you what hers is because I got Mary Sanderson.
Okay.
The true peacekeeper of your group, you make it your personal mission to see that everyone is happy. You give great advice, even though it's mostly ignored. I'm looking at you. And are always there to lend a helpful hand or shoulder to cry on. You're loyal, sensitive, and easygoing. So I think that is pretty... It's fine. I think that's pretty me. I wonder what...
the other one is?
What's her name? Winnie Sanderson.
Winifred?
Yeah. So
we'll never know. It's impossible to know because I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mary.
Oh, man. If only we had our Winifred somewhere nearby. Oh, well.
I bet you're more like Winifred.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So if y'all didn't catch the slight little...
Our carefully veiled hint.
We also watched Hocus Pocus this weekend.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this in our last episode, but we are in the spookiest month. I mean,
it is pretty spooky. It has a lot of O's in it. Ooh. So so that's always the look of like surprise when somebody goes
mm-hmm. It does. Mm-hmm. For a second, can I tell you what happened in my head?
What?
I did a dumb thing.
What'd you do?
You said it has a lot of O's in it. And you were talking about October, which has 2 O's in it. I thought Halloween, and at first I went, and I was like, wait, there's only 1 O in Halloween. And then I thought about it for a full 3 seconds. I was like, oh, dang, you're talking about October.
Yeah, October is a lot of O's. So you go, and also, oh.
Yeah. You're right. It's full of shock and surprise.
That's right.
We watched Hocus Pocus. And
it had been a hot second since you had seen it.
A very long time. I said, I think more than a decade since I've seen this movie.
I saw it for the first time ever a year ago in October.
Like almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah. I watched it for the first time I'd ever seen it last Halloween season. It has quite a following.
Yeah, so we talked about early on in the life of this podcast, which if I know we've said it before, but we're very close to our 1-year anniversary on this podcast. But we started closer to after the Thanksgiving season time and into the holiday of Christmas season. And we talked about then that there are very divisive Christmas movies. Mm-hmm. that a lot of people are like, no, it's not Christmas without this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And this, for Halloween, this is one of those for a lot of people. You gotta watch Hocus Pocus.
Right. Or
you aren't Halloweening.
That's right. And I don't know, did you guys celebrate Halloween a lot growing up?
I wouldn't say we celebrated it, but we did do costumes every year. We did trick or treat.
We didn't really. We kind of lived out in the country where it was kind of hard to really get somewhere Halloween night, and Mom and Dad just basically got us our own bowl of candy.
Yeah, that's really the life right there.
Yeah.
And that's probably how a lot of people are doing Halloween this year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Be safe. But so we didn't have Halloween traditions really. This was is a Halloween tradition for so many people is this movie. And it's a fun movie.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. I think there's a lot of talent in this movie. And maybe this movie doesn't show all of that talent in the best way.
So Wikipedia describes this movie as a horror fantasy comedy.
Okay. I mean, there's no horror in it.
Yeah, I think they had to put horror in because there's witches and there is a zombie.
Mm-hmm. But he's a nice zombie.
Yeah, but we don't know that until like right at the end.
Yeah.
Billy.
So
yeah, let's talk about who's in this one. We talked about it a little bit already, but it does have Bette Midler as Winifred. Mm-hmm. It does have Kathy Najimy.
Say that last name.
Najimy.
Okay, because I didn't know how to say it.
I think it's Najimy.
Okay.
And it does have Sarah Jessica Parker. Now, I'm going to say that I didn't realize, truthfully, that Sarah Jessica Parker was in this movie until we watched it last night.
Really?
I didn't realize that was Sarah Jessica Parker.
Why? Because she's blonde?
No, I think I just hadn't put the pieces together, and it's probably because I hadn't seen this movie since I knew who Sarah Jessica Parker was.
Right.
And so, like, seeing her in that role is just really kind of weird. Like, she's very young. And kind of at the beginning of her, like, her presence in the movie and TV zeitgeist, you know?
Right.
And
yeah, this was 93.
Yeah. It does have Bette Midler in it, which, as we pointed out as we were watching it, means that you got to listen to her sing at least one time.
And I really do like the rendition of
I Put a Spell on You. Yeah.
Is really good.
It's really good. And it's got Kathy Najimy doing a backup singing, which is pretty much what she did in the 90s. She was a backup singer in movies.
Sister Act.
She was in the Sister Act films, and she was in this both as a backup singer.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying this while we were watching it. Kathy Najimy wasn't in enough stuff.
No.
I think she is a wasted talent. I think she should have been in more stuff.
Okay. Well, maybe she didn't want to be.
Well, too bad.
Oh. Don't be rude to her.
No, I have nothing but respect for Kathy. It's also got some kids that I don't know. Well, not except for...
What did I point out?
Except for Sean Murray, who of course plays Agent McGee on NCIS.
Yes, love him.
He's the young man who gets turned into a cat.
Yeah, but that's not his voice.
Yeah, which is weird.
He doesn't voice the cat.
You know what's even weirder? We talked about this. We're watching the movie, and I saw him, and I had seen that before, that he was in this, and I'd forgotten, and I saw him again. I was like, oh, that's fun. It's McGee. And then we made some NCIS jokes. A few just right there at the beginning, because then he gets turned into a cat.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, you better call Gibbs.
Yeah, he was running without shoes on. I was like, hey, rule 190, you always wear shoes.
Yeah, all of you people out there that love NCIS, you get it.
You get it. But then, okay, so at the beginning, he's talking with a bad British accent, and then he turns into a cat, and it's not him anymore after that point. It's, remind me, you found the guy's name. It's like Jeremy or something.
I'll have to look it up and see.
Well, I'm sure he's probably right here too.
Marsden.
Yeah. It might not be Jeremy.
I think I'll have to look it up.
It's cool. And so it's that guy from then on, who apparently is a very accomplished voice actor, and he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Who did I say he was Max Goof in the Goofy movie.
Yeah. And so he's in it from then on. And then at the end, spoilers for Hocus Pocus.
Jason Marsden.
Jason, that's right. I wanted to say James Marsden, but that's a different person. That's a different Marsden. Although maybe related. That'd be interesting. But then at the end, we see Ghost McGee, and it's still not his voice at that point. We still...
Right. Was it his voice at the beginning?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. Because then Binks's voice goes into Sean Murray's body.
Right. So at the end, and I was paying attention, I was like, I don't think that's him, so I looked really closely, and there's like a couple moments where you can tell it's dubbed. And so Sean Murray only gets to talk at the beginning of this film. And then from then on, he's out.
But he is always, will always be Thackeray Binks.
Thackeray Binks.
Thackeray Binks.
Yeah. Who named this kid Thackeray? TH.
Suffering succotash.
How do you get into the writer's room and you're doing the read through? Mm-hmm. And you're talking to the director and the producers, and they're like, all right, tell us about the movie. And it's like, well, we open on this young man. His name's Thackeray. Zachary? No, I'm sorry. Thackeray. Well, why is his name Thackeray? Well, it just is.
You know what sucks?
Tell me.
They kill that little girl in the beginning.
Oh, man.
They straight up kill Emily.
Yeah. Poor little Emily.
I mean, and this was like a Disney movie.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
They suck out the life force of a child.
Yeah.
Okay, we can continue talking about the comedic aspects of this movie.
Now let's talk about what's so funny. Hey there, gang. This is Rich. Bad news. I was editing the episode, and it seems like we lost some audio here. And you know what? That just happens sometimes. So I'm going to catch you up real quick. So we talked a little bit about already what's been going on in this movie. You've got Thackeray, and you've got little Emily is the name of the girl. I don't remember if we said that yet or not, but her name's Emily. And the three witches are trying to steal the youth of children in Salem, and Thackeray tries to thwart their plans. Tries to thwart their plans, and he does not. He doesn't do it. So we just mentioned, unfortunately, his little sister dies. Sad. He gets turned into a cat. Weird. And the villagers actually sort of capture them and try to make them, be hanged for their ill deeds. And they sort of cast a spell before that happens that makes them be able to come back years later if just the right conditions are met, which is for a virgin to light a candle inside their house. And so that's where we're at. Sorry we missed it. Sorry you had to listen to just me tell it, because it was funnier with me and Natalie. But we got you caught up, and I won't bother you anymore.
It's now legend.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's as if we just saw, like, the story as a teacher's telling it kind of thing. And so he sort of, like chuckles. And
Halloween's not real.
Yeah. And she's like, would you like to say something, new kid? This is the teacher. Would you like to stand up and talk to the class? And he's like, well, sure. I just don't think Halloween's a big deal.
He's like, there's no such thing as witches. And everybody's like, oh.
Everyone in the
Los
class.
Los Angeles kid doesn't think there's witches.
The conceit of this movie is that every child.
Every single one.
In this high school classroom and the teacher all look at each other significantly like, this kid, right?
We'll prove it to him later,
We all believe in the supernatural and mainly the evil kind.
Yeah.
So get over it, Zach.
I mean, I wonder how much of that culture is really believed and held on to that hard in that area of our country. I mean, we can't say that we've been to Salem and know how people feel.
Well, I have been to Salem, and so have you.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were there.
No, I've never been.
Well, I was there. And here's what they talk about in Salem. The actual real live witch trials that happened there.
Right.
That killed a bunch of innocent people.
Which is just murder.
Yeah. So the main thing that they focus on in Salem is the craziness that was the actual real life witch trials.
Right. They don't talk about how witches are real.
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, if you go to, you're going to find a bunch of souvenir shops.
I mean, there are people that claim to be witches. I'm not saying witches aren't real, because there are people out there that
we're talking about pointy hat ride a broom witches.
Yeah, we're talking about those kinds.
And so, yeah, that's not really. Again, there's plenty of people who believe in the supernatural there, but they're certainly not in the classroom going like, you remember all these real life people? Well, some of them were witches. And you're stupid for thinking they weren't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that.
So he takes his baby sister.
Yeah, trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treating on Halloween. He runs into his crush.
His crush on the first day of school.
Yeah. He runs into his crush. They end up going to the Sanderson sister house, which was a museum but was shut down. Then to bring the Sanderson sisters back, a virgin has to light this particular candle. And then when he does light it, it is revealed that, oh, the 14-year-old is a virgin. Ooh, let's make fun of him. That really bugged me really hardcore.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not even 14. Maybe he's freaking 16. But
it doesn't
still,
really matter
it
how
doesn't
old he
matter.
is. Like, that's just a true thing about him.
Nobody ever should be ridiculed for being a virgin.
Yes.
No matter how old you are.
I agree with that.
But I feel like especially like teenagers, because, you know, they need to be safe and all that. Whatever. Stop, Natalie. I'm getting up on my soapbox. It drives me insane. Anyway, so he lights it, the sisters come back, and now it's a race until dawn to for them to either suck up the youth of Salem or for them to be gone forever.
Yeah.
So they have to hold off the sisters until dawn, and the sisters are after them and to try to get that going for themselves.
Yeah.
So...
Can I tell you one little thing that bothers me, and this happens in movies a lot, is, so they go into the Sanderson sister house, and it was a museum that had turned into a semi-modern museum with a gift shop and everything, and all that was just left there. So, like, all the products are still on the shelves and covered in cobwebs.
Right, because they said it had to be shut down because there were weird stuff. There was weird stuff happening in it, or something like that.
And so Max finds, before it's even important, before he knows he might light a candle, he finds a Zippo lighter, which is one of the souvenirs you can buy, which I gotta say is kind of weird. Like, that's a weird, I don't know. I feel like that's a weird souvenir. But anyway, he pulls it off the shelf. This is the thing I don't like. This is the thing that happens in movies a lot. He just picks up a Zippo and lights it.
Yeah. He actually flips it kind of on his leg, making
like
him look like
doing.
A cool kid.
Yeah.
You know, because he's from LA. He knows how to flip on a Zippo.
Yeah. But here's the thing. And this is not important. It just bothers me because I know they don't sell Zippo lighters with fluid in them.
Okay.
And if you put lighter fluid in a Zippo, you will be lucky if it will light the next day. Like, it evaporates out of that thing so fast, you have to, like, be planning to light something later that day and fill it that morning for a Zippo lighter work.
Well, this was Zippo Corner with Rich. Now we all know more about the Zippos.
I'm just saying, it always bugs me when someone's like, "Ooh, Zippo," and then it's on, and it works all night. For he several times flicks that thing on. It always bugs me. I don't know why. Anyway, so he lights the candle. The witches come back.
Yeah, I already went through all that.
Yeah, I'm just catching myself up because I was hung up on I was standing there staring at the Zippos.
Something bad is happening in these poor kids' lives. They go to find their parents who
again,
are at a Halloween party with all the other parents.
They just got...
There is not a single parent out on the street with their children. Because every single... Sorry. Hold on. Let me finish. Because every single parent is in freaking town hall, dressed up, and dancing the night away. And they're just like pawning their children off on their other children and saying, run along, children. This is our holiday too.
Yeah. And there's no like, it seems to be the weekend. Like that's kind of implied that like it's a weird timing thing. So like this is Max and his sister's first day of school. It also happens to be Halloween.
This is not, I don't believe this was their first day of school.
I do. Because when the teacher calls on him, he has to stand up and introduce himself to the class because he's brand new.
I don't think he does.
Yeah.
But they talk about their friends at school. How did they make friends at school? And they knew, like, he knew what the girl's name was and stuff. I don't know. I think they've been there for a second. Because all of their furnishings are all in their house and everything.
I think they had just moved in, and that was their first day they went to school.
Does everybody hear the rustling? That's our daughter that just entered the room with a pack of gummy fruits in her hand. She decided it's
snack time.
Is it snack time?
Yeah.
It is?
All
Here,
right.
let me open it.
Quick parenting break.
I just want to say that I don't think it's wrong for parents to go to Halloween parties without their children. Because that is totally fine. It's just that they leave them with no supervision, walking down the street, going up to strangers' houses, and getting candy that could have like razor blades in them or something, or be poisoned because there's like a weirdo that lives in the house next door that you don't know.
Or there's 3 living witches in town.
Yeah, but I'm talking about real life, sir.
Oh.
So, they find their parents at the Halloween party, and their parents are like, "Oh, you guys have eaten too much candy. You're making all this up, you little dears.
You three children, two of which are teenagers.
2 teenagers, and a little girl that is she's very smart. She seems to be, well-rounded and everything. Like, she doesn't make up a ton of stuff. But, and then, Bette Midler casts a spell on all the parents so that they can't help their children. Later, when they wake up, by the way, she gets up and she's like, "Oh, it's 5 o'clock. I better get home." She says it's 5 o'clock. Then they start calling all the children to them. So it's like, what is that? The Pied Piper.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Pied Piper, like a siren song that Sarah Jessica Parker sings to get all the kids. Some of those kids are in PJs, and some of those kids are still in their Halloween costumes with bags of candy. They have literally had no parent supervision all night long. They have been living on the street all night.
Well, so remember that at that point, all the parents had no choice but to stay at the party.
Yes, I understand that. But those poor children didn't know what to do. Some of them went home and just went to bed and were just like, "Okay, hope mom and dad come back in the morning."
Yeah. They were like all latchkey kids that night.
Yeah. Anyway.
You're very concerned for the well-being of these children. I think that's laudable.
As we all should be.
So, there's a few things that they figure out throughout the night. They're able to get a hold of the spell book.
Mm-hmm. That has an eyeball.
And they take a look in the book, and they realize that they could be protected by a circle of salt. Mm-hmm. But then Binks gets mad because they looked in the book. Mm-hmm. He's like, "No, nothing good happens when you use the spell book." Mm-hmm. And that's true, because when they open the book, that like beacons the witches to them.
They looked in the spell book to see if they could try to help Binks get back to be a real boy.
It was very nice of them, mm-hmm. but Binks is like, "Don't even try. I'd rather stay a cat than you use another spell out of the book." Mm-hmm. And so, they do, the witches sick a zombie on them at one point, and he's kind of chasing them throughout the night. And towards the end, we mentioned somewhere Max comes out with a Swiss Army knife, and he's waving that around like it's going to hurt someone.
He's from LA. He's lived on the street.
and Billy, the zombie, catches him, and we learn early on that Billy's like a former flame of Winifred, but then Sarah like ran around with him behind her back, which was that's a weird backstory.
That's a weird thing to put in a kid's movie.
It was the 90s.
It was the 90s, but also, like, she then kills him and, like, is fine with Sarah, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
so he comes back, and then we find out, so he gets a hold of the little knife, and he cuts off, she had sewn his mouth shut before he went in the grave, and so he opens it up, and he's like, no, I'm mad at you still.
Yeah, so I'm actually a good zombie, and now I will take on protecting these kids
Even though I've been chasing them all night.
Mm-hmm. He's probably chasing them, trying to protect them, or trying to tell them, hey, can I be on your team?
Yeah. And then I gotta say, maybe it's because we did this in 2 viewings. We didn't watch it all the way through because we'd just gotten back from vacation. So we watched part of this yesterday and part of it today. But I didn't care much about the end of the movie. Did you care a lot about the end of the movie?
You mean, did I like it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how... I'm not sure how else it would have ended.
Oh, I don't mean like from a plot perspective. It just sort of wraps up. Like,
you think it's anticlimactic?
Yeah, kind of. I think it's because of the time thing that you pointed out. There's a moment where they say it's 5:00, and then they go outside and it's still pretty much the middle of the night.
Well, when was the last time you were up at 5:00?
I know. I'm not saying that it's not dark. I'm not saying I believe the sun should be up at 5 in. I'm just saying at that point it's like, oh well, we're close to the end then. Like you know, it doesn't feel like it's not like with like Bilbo in The Hobbit with the trolls, and like he's got to spend all night keeping the trolls talking to. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like we don't know where the end is. We don't know how long but they go, yeah, it's 5:00. So you're like, okay, well, we got about an hour. We got about an hour and a half of movie time.
They didn't have enough movie for it to last all night. They just needed to start out Halloween Trick-or-treating and end at dawn.
Right.
So most of that night they slept.
Yeah. So here's one thing about the very end that I don't think is consistent. And they don't really go into, and it's fine because it ends the way it's a movie. It's got to end a certain way. In the final struggle, because they're trying to get a hold of Max's sister so they can get the youth out of her, just like they did at the beginning. And he prevents that from happening. He gets the potion from them and he drinks it to sacrifice himself. And in the final struggle for them to get to him to like get his youth out, Binks gets hurt, which we'd seen happen before. He
usually just pops up.
He got run over by a truck at one point in this movie, and then he just reinflates like a balloon. He's like, I'm fine. So he gets thrown down and hits a rock, and he makes the injured cat noise that happens in movies when cats get hurt. Mm-hmm. And we're like, okay, Binks is injured. The witches are still alive. All their stuff is still going. And then at the last second, like the sun comes up, the 2 sisters are flying kind of high because they got tricked, and then they get hit by the light and they turn into dust. And Winifred accidentally steps foot on the hallowed ground in the cemetery and turns into a statue before then turning into dust.
Right.
But there's plenty of time in between there for Binks to have regenerated. But then he didn't.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand why he didn't. Because
well, maybe he did. I mean, maybe he just didn't get up. Maybe he was tired.
No. Because then...
I think at the end, when their spells are gone, then he just dies.
I think that's what we're supposed to think too, but that's not what happens with Billy. Billy is like with them, is like, all right, guys, well, I'm going to go back to sleep now. And like several minutes later goes back into his grave and he gets to choose when his thing ends. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. You know me. I want consistency. Mm-hmm. And it's not super consistent. But like I said, it's the way the movie needs to end is them with Spirit McGee and Spirit McGee's sister. And they're like, we did it. Finally, we can be together in the afterlife. and they walk through the gates of the cemetery into the sunrise, and then that's the end of the movie. And then over the credits, the parents are tiredly walking out of the all-night rager party they were forced to be part of.
Yeah, and none of them seem very concerned that, oh, look, it's the morning. We haven't seen our children all night.
Yeah, in fact, the dad has a line. Yeah. They walk out, and none of them seem to realize, like, man, it's so weird that we just danced for 10 hours. Like, they all walk out, and he's like, man, I thought L.A. was a party town. As if they all chose to stay all night, and then all decide to leave at the same time.
Yep.
I said, that's crazy.
Let me give you a little bit of numbers.
I would
because
love that.
You know I like the numbers.
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus, when it came out, was not a success. And I think that is pretty true with a lot of cult type things, is that in its time, it was not at all appreciated, and now it's more appreciated. It lost around $16 million during its original theatrical run.
Womp womp.
But it has gained such a following now that people go to the movie theaters to see it. Some movie theaters release it special every Halloween season. More people are streaming it and downloading it. Because so many people, like we said, have this in the tradition of their holiday.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio was originally offered the lead role of Max.
Oh, man. Can you even imagine?
No. But he was pursuing What's Eating Gilbert Grape at the time.
What if these two kids had swapped parts? What if
Then we would have known the name of who played Max.
Instead of, I think it's Omri Katz. I think that's who this kid is.
The critical response was not awesome. Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 37% based on 52 reviews, which isn't a lot of reviews. It's just,
but it's also not a lot of tomatoes.
Yeah. Some of the comments are that it's hokey,
and it's pokey,
it's muddled, it's dreadful. The only tolerable moment being when Bette Midler sings.
Did anyone mention the Zippo thing?
Nobody mentioned the Zippo thing. Nobody cares about the Zippo thing.
Well,
it's lackluster. It came out the same weekend as Free Willy.
Oh, poor Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, that's rough. Let's see. And there was one more thing that I was going to say, but now I'm... Oh, there is a sequel in the works. This year, they signed a director, and it is supposed to come on Disney Plus at some point. I didn't get an exact date. But it looks like it has been said that all three ladies have said they would be interested. Not sure if that would be, if that's true. At one point, when it was originally thought up several years ago to make a sequel, Bette Midler was like, no, thank you, I don't think so. But the more recent...
But what have you been doing, Bette?
Right. But the more recent statements say that all three of them said they'd be interested in reprising their roles.
Sure. Can you imagine Catherine and Jamie making a comeback?
You're all about this.
I just don't understand. It's so weird that she was in like 4 movies in the 90s, and she's a very funny, like supporting
the thing
lady.
She does with her mouth in this, her physical comedy.
She's very funny.
Is really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wish she'd been in more stuff I've seen.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is Hocus Pocus. Because we're in the spooky month, we're gonna do some more Halloween-y stuff.
Yeah, we're thinking about maybe doing more of the things. Because, again, like I said, I didn't grow up watching any of these Halloween movies during the spooky month. And so it's interesting to follow along in all of the tradition that everybody else is doing. That was a bad sentence.
I like that we're treating October like the Super Bowl, where you aren't supposed. I just said it. Where you're not supposed to say it. You're supposed to say the big game. Oh. I like that we're just calling it the spooky month. The spooky month.
Even though October is like not trademarked at all.
Yeah, it's not trademarked at all. It does have a weird thing where oct means 8, but it's the 10th month. We have an ancient Caesar to thank for that.
All right, that and Zippo lighters. That's been what Rich has contributed today.
I'm coming in hot with the facts.
I love your facts.
Well, this has been another episode of Not Suitable for Adults. Thank you for listening to our show. We thank you for your patience while we've been on vacation and dealing with some family stuff.
Yeah, I had a surgery like a few weeks ago, and then we were able to do an episode, and then we were gone for 2 weeks. Or no, we just missed one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because we're doing this one. But so it's been kind of a crazy month. So thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah, and if you have some thoughts about Hocus Pocus, or if you have thoughts about what else we should do during the spooky month, you can tweet at us at NotForAdultsCast, or you can email us at notforadultscast@gmail.com. And we do love to get that feedback from you. If you're not subscribed already, please do subscribe. If you have the ability to leave a rating and review, we'd love to see that as well. It helps us feel like we're doing a good job, which is so important to us. We love to see those stars, and we love to see those words of kindness from you, or criticism if you have that.
Give us some criticism. I dare you.
Oh man! All of a sudden we get an influx of 1 star. This show could be better.
Bring it.
Oh man! So, like we said, you're getting ready for Halloween. Please be safe as you're going out. Like if you're gonna go out, do it safely. If you just need to do a stay-in thing, like just go on Amazon, get your candy, and just eat the candy.
I've also seen, you guys, some people are putting their candy in little baggies so that not a lot of kids are like dipping their hands in big bowls of just loose candy. Instead, you can have them just pick their own baggie. So, and set that like on your front porch and like stand 6 feet away. So
I saw a guy who set up a tube.
I know,
from his porch, and he's got the tube ends at the bottom of his porch, like down some stairs. It says "place bag here," and you hold it under there, and then he'll like send it down the chute. So no one but you, like you prepared it, and then it goes down the chute. They don't have to reach into anything. It's so all pre-prepared. It's very cute.
Yeah, it's a good idea. To just have those baggies kind of already ready, and maybe even sitting out, where they don't have to touch other bags at the same time they're getting theirs.
Yeah. But if you are getting just like a personal little bowl of candy, that is totally fine. Don't let anyone tell you what to do. Just don't forget that you're the boss.
So watch and trick or treat. Whatever you want.
Okay, bye.
Bye.